In the nearly 3 years since George Floyd's murder, the nation has become, depending on your point of view, rightly focused on racism, unwilling to shift racism from its recurrent role, or fixated on the idea that this is a racist country. Awareness has been met with backlash. Ibram X. Kendi, director of the Boston University Center for Antiracist Research, may know that better than most. He's the author of 2019's How to Be an Antiracist. This month, Kendi and his co-author Nic Stone published How to Be a Young Antiracist. I sat down with Kendi to talk about why he felt compelled to write a second book on anti-racism, this time aimed at teenagers and young adults.
This book and this story, so much of it was when I was in middle school and high school, in college. And in many ways, that's when we are forming our sense of selves. That's when we're internalizing ideas, including racial ideas. And so there are so many different ways in which we're being told, just by the nature of who we're befriending, what we're experiencing in society, about whether there's something wrong or right about other people and even us.
One of the things that I was really impressed by is that you took so much time and put so much energy into definitions in this book. What made you do that?
If someone isn't aware of what racial justice truly is or what it means to be anti-racist, then our young people are easily able to be hoodwinked or to be thinking that they're doing something that's going to be helpful for a particular racial group when it's harmful.
The co-opting of social justice language by people who are actually looking to preserve racism in our country. I wonder if you could explain what you meant by that, or perhaps give us an example or two of that, and then why that matters.
So I think probably one of the most prevailing examples that I think particularly are affecting young people are on standardized tests. The SAT, for instance, is largely going to predict the wealth of the parents of the test takers. People who have more wealth and resources are able to get their kids in high-priced test prep courses. We currently have this test score gap in which white and Asian kids are getting, on average, higher scores than Black, Native, and Latinx kids. And when we start pressing for maybe we should not use a standardized test, then you have parents who are saying, oh, that's hostile to my kid. Or that affirmative action is a race-conscious policy that, quote, discriminates in their mind against their children, but they don't consider standardized tests to be a race-conscious policy that literally discriminates against kids who don't have money, who don't have resources. I think it's an example of the ways in which you have people who are using the language of justice. Oh, you know what? This is discriminatory. It's unequal. When they know that it actually privileges their students.
To a young person who reads this book or intends to read this book, but also has made up their mind that they intend to lead their life as an anti-racist, what does that mean? What does that require of them at this moment in time?
When you decide to strive to be anti-racist in a racist society, you're going to certainly be able to create relationships with all different types of people. But at the same time, it's going to be difficult because there's going to be many people who are going to critique you, who are going to think that there's something wrong with you because they don't want to look in the mirror. There's going to be positive and negatives, challenges and rewards, to being anti-racist.